Let's see, I need to turn my TV down a little bit so it can't be heard on the stream. Right then, can you hear me? Yes, it looks like you can. Show. Oh, that's what I do that for. Oh, I need to put the chat out too. Something I tend to forget to do sometimes. Well, it's because I have been out in the edge of the galaxy when I did the Distant Worlds expedition about 5 years ago, I believe. And then I did the Voyager route, and it's just taken me that long to get back to the system to where I am now. There we go. Also, if you see the little graphic I have up on the upper right, that's the route I have taken. So... yeah, I don't do combat that much. That's why I have this ship. I did a little bit of combat, but not too much. And that's currently what I have in credits. A brown dwarf or a red dwarf. Yeah, I have a tendency to do that if I could remember which key. There we go. It's like I play this game once a month, just so I can get back towards the core systems. Oh. Okay, what happened to my controller? That's why. Yeah, because basically what happened was that when I got to Beagle Point, I crashed, and then I got sent back to where I last was, near Sagittarius A-Star, and once I got back to where I was, at Beagle Point, I just kind of stopped playing it for about a year or two. Mostly it was, I wanted to do the Distant Worlds expedition, so some friends of mine helped me grind to get some of what is it called, the Founder? Or, I forget what it's called. The Guardian Frameshift Drive booster and stuff like that. So I could do the Distant Worlds expedition. What? Trying to eat crackers here.
Frameshift drive charging.
The Explorer rank is Pioneer.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping complete.
Frameshift, Friendship 1. You know where that comes from? Yeah, Friendship One, I believe, is part of Star Trek lore. Basically, before Zephyr Cochrane did his warp ship and stuff like that, there's supposedly an expedition that went out before then. And in some sources of Star Trek lore, Zephyr Cochrane is actually from Alpha Centauri.
Frameshift drive charging.
Excuse me.
Fuel scooping. System scan complete. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Lots of brown dwarf stars. What's taking so long? Oh, excuse me.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging.
Ah. Neutron star.
Warning. Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits. Frameshift drive supercharged.
that you don't. It's actually part of the frameshift drive. So when you go through either a neutron star or a white dwarf, you automatically supercharge.
Warning, frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits. Frameshift drive supercharged. Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, I'm too far out from the Spork system to have any interdictions.
Fuel scooping. System scan complete. Fuel scooping complete.
Yeah, you usually get interdicted or see Thargoids in the inner systems around Sol and all that. Out here, you won't really see anything.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. System scan complete. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. System scan complete. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Let's see something here. Okay.
Frameshift drive charging.
Wow, that surprised me. Hello, destroyers. How you doing today? Pretty much. Especially it happened right as I was going to Frameshift Drive.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging.
Hopefully I'll have a fuel star before I run out of fuel.
Frameshift drive charging.
If not, I'll just have to call fuel rats in. Well, that's crap. The ship, the no-go zone on the star didn't show up, and I ran into it. Okay, what is Alright, I'll just have to do this.
Frameshift drive charging.
This is going to overheat my ship. And where is it? Yeah, it seems to be that way.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Warning. Temperature critical.
Good, it's a fuel star.
Fuels complete. Fuels complete. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. System scan complete. Frameshift drive charging. System scan
one thing about going through neutron stars and the like is that it slowly damages your ship too. And that's a relatively new mechanic they added like last year or the year before.
Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Pretty much, but they also added fleet carriers, so you can find random fleet carriers out in the galaxy. That way you can repair your ship at one of those.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
And mostly, like, let's see here. See, like, percentage here. 93%. So I've gone through, like, 4 neutron stars so far, I think. So it does the most damage to your frameshift drive.
Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging.
Also, Kit Fox, if you are in the Discord server for, let me just look here. What is it called? If you're in the FleetCom HQ Discord server, they always have people where you could send a message and say you need help at certain places, and they'll send either a ship to repair or refuel you.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yep. I'm not sure how active they are now, but that you can, and there's still people available for that.
Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, excuse me.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Yes, I have. when I was doing the Distant Worlds expedition back in, I think it was 2019. I passed by that, but on my way back I haven't.
Frameshift drive charging.
If you see the little graphic up in the upper right, that's where I've been. Yeah. On the way back, no, I haven't been to Sagittarius. But yeah, you can tell where I've been if you look at the upper right. Say I went from Beagle Point to all the way across where it says USS Voyager route, and and at the end of that little line is where I am now, in that general area.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, I'm not going the direct route. I'm going in the general route that the USS Voyager took in Star Trek Voyager.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Yeah, I've been trying to get back to the core systems for the last 6 years. After I'd done the Distant Worlds campaign.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, Beagle Point's like the furthest out you can get, I think. Somebody once went actually past Beagle Point just to see how far they could go by running in Super Cruise the entire way.
Frameshift drive charging.
I think it took them a month before they ran out of fuel, or something like that. Yep, the rule rats. But yeah, fuel rats. But I think it took the fuel rats at least a month to get to the person. Yeah, I read about it, and I don't remember when it happened though. Yeah, sometime around then, I think.
Frameshift drive charging. System scan complete.
Got 89 more jumps.
Frameshift drive charging.
With jet cone boost from a neutron star, I can go about 250 to 260 light years. Ordinarily, it's about 60 to 65.
Frameshift drive charging.
I don't think I've ever done that though. Might look on the Frontier forums to see if it says anything about it.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh good, this is a fuel star. Ruh. And this is taking exceptionally long time to there.
Fuel scooping.
Yeah. It is pretty large.
Fuel scooping complete.
400 billion objects, pretty much. It takes, if you could play this game every day and played it probably for a couple hours a day, it'd take you more than, I would imagine, 3 or 4 months to get all the way across the galaxy.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
I guess that's not a fuel star.
Frameshift drive charging.
How? I didn't know that was possible, Thagorus. Because basically, frameshift driving is going between one server and another for that system. Ah. Oh, that's interesting then. So I'm being a little distracted by it because the news is talking about SpaceX. Yeah, because basically changing frame shift driving is just basically changing servers to show, so you show up in the next star system. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, you're going from one planet to the next, but it doesn't really do anything unless you actually exit Super Cruise to view it.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, I mean that's possible, especially with the low gravity. Yeah. Have you been to that one planet that's within the Roche limit of a white dwarf?
Fuel scooping.
Well, neither have I,
Fuel scooping complete.
because I wouldn't be brave enough to do that because it's so close to the star. I see. I don't know where that is.
Frameshift drive charging.
I'd probably, if it's part of the Distant Worlds expedition, I probably did go there.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
I believe I had, because that may have been part of the Distant Worlds expedition. Let's see how many more light years I have to go. It's 80 jumps, which is up. Hold on a second. I have 5,343 light years to go. Oh, really? I might have done that. I just don't remember.
Frameshift drive charging.
I wonder why they've got that so far out.
System scan complete. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh yeah? I've never played the original Elite game, and the fact that they let you download it, I could never get it to run. No.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, my family never owned a computer until I built one in '99. Did you know that there is a company, or some of the original employees of the Commodore are opening up that company again and building the Commodores and stuff? It's really a company for people who are nostalgic for the old computers. Yeah, I saw I think a YouTube video on it. Yeah, and see, the first computer that we actually did have was one that was given to my mom. An IBM, I think it's an 8T, back in '95. And then I went to a college excess property auction in '98 and bought an XT and some portable or luggable computer with two 5 1/4 inch disk drives. And then in '99, it's when I first decided to start building my own computers. But in '99 was mostly a pre-assembled kit from Tiger Direct.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, but I would imagine it's a very limited audience. There used to be a small company that let you build your own IBM XT, but I don't know if they still make the parts for them anymore. Ah. And I've never really liked Linux that much. I mean, I have
Drive charging.
two Raspberry Pis running a flavor of Linux. One for Home Assistant and the other one for FlightAware. And I have a third older Raspberry Pi 2 just sitting around not doing anything. What exactly is RetroArch?
Fuel scooping.
Emulating like old Nintendo games and stuff like that.
Fuel scooping complete.
I could probably do something like that with my Raspberry Pi 2. See, I've got a Pi 4 running the Raspbian for FlightAware, and then whatever they use for Home Assistant on a Pi 5.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, it's probably because it's got a slower processor. Maybe? The only games I ever had on PlayStation was Dead or Alive and Gran Turismo 5. And then way back in 2007, my brother went and bought an Atari 2600, a 2600A, a 2600 6-switch, an Atari 5200, and 90 games on eBay for like $150 or $200, and they all work. I mean, the last time we played them was 2007. Once he got them, he played them for like 2 hours and then put them back in the box, and never played with them again.
Frameshift drive charging.
And I recently went through all this stuff, and there's only one power supply I can find. Now, I have no idea how you're supposed to power the Atari 5200.
Warning. Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits. Frameshift drive supercharged.
But they don't use a standard jack. And I can't find the power out inlet for the Atari 5200. Huh.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, the power jack for one of the power supplies looks like an old 3.5 millimeter jack for a headphone. So my dad used to play Pac-Man and Super Breakout all the time on the 5200. But then when we got the NES, he stopped playing the games. I think it was mostly because my dad didn't like learning new things. Also, Daggerus, when you said you were playing like the Commodores in '86, what year were you born?
System scan complete.
Yeah, we had our first game console was a 5200, and then once the NES came out, me and my brother both disassembled the opened up the 5200 and broke some components off the motherboard so it would stop working, kind of in a way to make our parents buy us the NES. And then after that, my brother bought the I think it was my brother that bought the Super NES, then the PlayStation, and then a PS2, and I think he last bought his last console was the PlayStation 3. He had a Nintendo Wii for a little bit.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, but my parents were kind of cheapskates. They bought whatever was cheapest. One reason why they never bothered buying a computer when in the 80s and 90s, because to them it was too expensive and they probably didn't see any point in it. In fact, I built my computer in 99. It took my brother a year of nagging them to let us have internet at home. And because we had been using the internet in college for 2 or 3 years before that. I kind of figured the reason why they didn't want to have internet at home because the news liked to report on porn on the internet a lot back then. And I'm assuming my parents may have thought that it would just show up as soon as you connected to the internet, but that's just me assuming. My parents would never really were kinds to think logically. They just thought emotionally.
Frameshift drive charging.
Just like we weren't allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons, aside from the fact that that was the devil's game, according to them. There was reports of somebody in the 80s that killed another person over the game, so my mom didn't want us playing it either, because she likely thought we'd do the same thing. Well, see, because it was my parents' house, we couldn't have stuff like that. They were the one paying for the phone line, so they made the decision. And when I did have the computer, it had to be in the living room so my mom and dad could keep watch over us to make sure we weren't doing something we weren't supposed to be doing. They were very strict parents. My parents wouldn't have done that. In fact, when I went to college this was year 98, they were trying to get people to sign up for phones in college, in the college commons. So I just figured I'm going to try to see if I can do this. I'm not expecting to actually get approved, but yeah, I wound up getting approved for a cell phone. Back then, it was I think 50 minutes for $25 a month. But I didn't want a phone because I didn't want my mom trying to keep track of us
Frameshift drive charging.
or constantly trying to call us. Because yeah, my parents were the types like they never had cable TV when we were growing up because they didn't think anything would get done if we had cable TV.
System scan complete. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
But then once they started living out in the country, they kind of had no choice to get some sort of like Hughes satellite internet and some sort of like dish TV or whatever. And then pretty much the only thing they watched was Fox News.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah. And being that my mom had Well, she, at one point or another, when I was growing up, she was diagnosed as being manic depressive and bipolar, which she always had a little bit of mental health issues. So being paranoid like she was, Fox News just made it worse. It's like every time there was a Democrat president in office, she'd want to build a garden. Because in her mind, it meant that our world's going to come to an end, or society is anyway. But yeah, I kind of wanted to block Fox News, but I didn't want to hear her complain about not being able to see it and having conspiracies as to why that she couldn't see it anymore.
Frameshift drive charging.
Pretty much. I did block Fox Business, but it's not like she watched that much. Luckily, they didn't get one American News or Newsmax too.
Fuel scooping complete.
See, like during the Obama's term, they were convinced that city people, because they lived out 20 or 30 miles out in the country, they're absolutely convinced that people were going to come out of the big cities and start looting where they lived, and so they wanted to have a bug out bag with a gun and stuff like that. We convinced them, which it helped a little for them not to be so scared about people like doing that. But both of them were always kind of parent. But my parents, no, they wouldn't let me be myself like that. Oh, I keep pressing that wrong button.
Charging.
Yeah, my parents were very strict and they always had to keep watching what I was doing. Depends on what the weather is like in down there in Brownsville or South Padre Island. Apparently, weather is supposed to be red today, but I don't know. That's what they were talking about yesterday.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
See, my dad was built. No, my parents were never like that. They always tried to shelter us from anything they thought was evil. But my parents were never
Charging.
that kind of where they thought logically about stuff. They were just reactionary and all that. My parents, in fact, my mom had a psychology teacher at one time teach that if you wore black, that meant you were depressed, so we weren't allowed to wear black clothes. Just like, they were afraid of, like, motorcyclists, you know, because of how Hollywood tends to portray them sometimes. So when I saw a black Harley Davidson t-shirt, they immediately said, absolutely not. I can't imagine wanting to have black walls. My parents, if you were my parents, son, they think there was something absolutely wrong with you.
Frameshift drive charging.
Okay, well, I'm almost done, about to finish streaming, so in 11 minutes is about time when I'm going to end anyway.
3, 2.
That sounds pretty cool, Thurgoras. I bet they were pretty loud, too.
Fuels complete. System scan complete. Fuels complete.
That's cool. Uh, I'm looking at the YouTube, but none of the channels that normally stream when SpaceX is live is streaming. Oh, here we go. You got 8 more minutes. What? You probably had 4 ohm speakers, and your radios needed like 8 ohm speakers.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, typical speakers are usually 8 ohm, I think.
System
Those
scan
those big concert speakers are probably lower.
Fuels complete.
Yeah, otherwise it overloaded your radio. I got a little picture-in-picture of NASA space flight's feed of SpaceX below my chat. That's cool. Winamp. It really chaps the llama's ass.
Frameshift drive charging.
I used to use Winamp for a while. Yeah, then it went paid or something like that. Or at least Napster or something.
3, 2.
Yeah, same here. FX is one of the best graphics card companies out until Nvidia came around.
Warning. Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
true. 3DFX had some pretty good technology back then. That's pretty cool. That was one of their last released products before they went out of business. GTA 3, Grand Theft Auto.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, my first processor was a Cyrix M2 TR300, and it may have been faulty because I had to reinstall Windows every 2 weeks with it. Yeah, I remember reading that IBM and Microsoft didn't consider it a compatible processor. Yeah, because I kept having data corruption on it. At first, I thought it was the hard drive that I bought, which was a 5.25-inch, 3 GB hard drive. But when I replaced the hard drive and it's kept doing it, I said, okay, I'm just going to switch to switch to an AMD K62 500.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, I had that Cyrix processor for about a year, I think. Yeah, and not only that, because I had a Soyo 5 EMA Plus Super Socket 7 board. And I think in the pre-assembled kit came with that motherboard and a 24x CD-ROM that would stop working unless you had a fan on it. Do you remember Tiger Direct then? Which later became System Max? Oh. Well, this was in 99. Do you remember 8-bit for those motherboards?
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Oh. Not paying attention to what I'm doing.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Anyway, I'll do one more jump, then I'll raid out.
Frameshift drive
Oh,
charging.
it's launching.
System scan.
Yes, I do remember that, but I never. I was AMD all the way up until 2013. But yes, I am now going to raid out, so I can watch the SpaceX launch. And who should I raid out to? Let's see. There's the Wolves, Blaze. There's Okari. I could raid Okari. I haven't raided him ever. Yeah, I need to do some World of Warcraft later this week or something. Well, have fun then. And let's see, Okari is currently playing. Oh, he's in VR chat, probably doing his exercises. No, he's doing Unity tutorials. So yeah, let's go watch him.